Hi, y'all. Welcome to Spirit Mail. I'm Cheryl, and this is Daily Mail episode 46. I want to talk about leading from your heart and leading with your emotions or with compassion. There seems to be a little bit of that going on in the readings right now, and sometimes I'm like, detach from your emotions, but lead from your heart. And I know that's got to be confusing, and I may have actually already done this message. I'm not sure, but I'm doing it again. If I did already do it, I'm doing it again because it seems to be a theme going on right now. So, what do I mean whenever I say that? Lead with your heart. Detach from your emotions, but lead with your heart. Because sometimes we think it's the same thing. So, I'm going to give you an example. I'm an Aquarius, so I'm in my head a lot and I analyze a lot, right? And so whenever things don't go the way I think they're supposed to go, I'm constantly trying to figure out the puzzle. Why is this happening, or what caused it to happen, and stuff like that. Well, as you all know, I have in 2017, or early part 2017, I closed 2 businesses, and so in my 7 months after that, I stayed home and cried a lot. And part of that was me trying to figure out, how did I get there? What happened that caused all that? Well, I left my husband, went through a divorce, and then closed the businesses. I mean, there was a lot going on. But part of what my finances got so drastically bad that I could no longer help my kids. And I had been, doing a lot for my kids and other people financially. And somebody said to me off the cuff, God probably shut you down because he's been trying to ask you to let people stand on their own 2 feet and you just won't let them. So, and I'm thinking, but I love them, Of course I want to do for them. And so whenever we talk about leading from our heart, and having compassion and detaching from emotions, we're going to talk about this little scenario. So my heart loved them, right? And so I allowed that emotion of love to drive me to keep giving and giving and giving. But if I would have had compassion, I would have maybe said, figure it out. We all have to figure it out. And I would love them, but with compassion said no, because it would be a compassionate thing to help somebody stand on their own 2 feet by withholding sounds bad, but because I'm a giver. So by not continuing to enable them. So the crazy thing is that everybody that I'd ever helped, that I thought I needed to help because my emotions were driving me to help, they're all fine. None of them have starved to death. They're doing well, as a matter of fact. So it's like we in our own mind allow our emotions to make up stories. I love them so much. They can't do this without me. With our kids, we continue to give them and give them and give them. But the compassionate thing to do is love them and let them stand on their own 2 feet, because compassion allows them to grow up and do what they need to do. So whenever you hear me talk about leading from your heart, and in almost the same breath saying detach from your emotions, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Our emotions might cause us to go sit with a friend and listen to them and then cry and then go and take the person that hurt them and give them a good tongue lash. And that might be an emotionally driven action. But our compassion is more self-controlled. Our compassion listens to the friend cry and says, I'm here if you need me, and then allows the friend to work it out themselves, because I can't work out my friend's problems. But see, these are things that we, as human beings, we think we're supposed to do. So that's the difference between emotions detaching from those emotions and leading with your heart and having compassion. Am I saying don't ever help anybody? No, I'm not saying don't ever help anybody. That's always a judgment call. You have to do what your spirit's telling you to do. But my advice would be to go within and ask your spirit, ask your higher self, what is the best action at this time with this situation? Because our emotions will always drive us to react versus respond. And that's our Daily Mail episode. So I hope you got to see the interview with Maxine Taylor last night. I'm going to do the PS here shortly. I hope you got to see the interview with Maxine Taylor last night. She talked about the eclipses, the one that we had at Christmas, the one that's coming up Friday, and she talked about the Saturn return. So if you missed it, go check it out. It lasted about an hour, and she did say that she'd come back the end of March. She's going to come back March 31st so that she can talk to us about the energies coming up in the next quarter. She says this is going to be a crazy year. So I'm looking forward to hearing what else is going on. Anyway, Tuesday night, so set your calendars for Tuesday nights at 6 o'clock because this is a new thing that I'm adding to the Spirit Mail channel is interviews with guests, and aside from Roundtable. On Tuesday night, I'm having apostolic pastor, preacher, former apostolic pastor, preacher, Kyle Butler, that will be talking to us about his journey from church to spirituality. And then the next week, we'll be talking to a gentleman who has a YouTube channel called Good News, and he also kind of does the same thing, except that he like digs deep. He's not a pastor or a theologian or anything, but boy, he digs deep, and he has all kinds of resources that he goes to find the truth of the message within the scriptures. So I know not all of you are into that, but I know there's a lot of you that are. So that's what's coming up on our Tuesday night. We're going to call it Deep Dive Tuesday. None of that matches, and it has nothing to do with mail, but you know, I'm not, I'm to a point where I can't figure out a creative way to tie it into mail. So anyway, we're going to do the PS. And don't forget, Saturday morning is Roundtable at 10 o'clock. God, guides, angels, archangels, Holy Spirit, I thank you so much for our Daily Mail crew. Thank you for tarot as a tool, and thank you for helping us to understand how to navigate this life. Show us the PS, please. We thank you for clear and concise messages. We thank you for love, light, and prosperity, and we thank you for clarification, confirmation, and validation. Look at that. Okay, so this message was about compassion and love and detaching from emotions, right? This is about us, yes, love each other. Do things for each other. Absolutely. I know this card is about past lives and about past relationships and all that stuff. But in this particular, look at that little guy. He's giving her flowers. Yes, do nice things for people. And do it with a pure heart. Do it with a heart that's not tied up saying, golly, how much do I have to keep helping you? Because that's another thing that happens whenever we react from our emotions. We tend to become resentful that we're always having to bail them out. But it's because we're reacting from our emotions instead of being compassionate and loving and allowing them to get up on their own. It used to be a big thing, tough love, right? That it's important to allow people to do their journey. We can't do their journey for them, but yes, we can be good to each other with the purity and innocence of love of a child, with no expectation of anything in return, with no feelings of resentment or anger or being used. This might end up being quite a bit longer. We train people how to teach us. We have how to treat us. We teach people how to treat us. We can sit here and say, well, that person used me and that person used me and blah, blah. We're the ones who allowed it. We're the ones who taught them that was okay. And if you don't agree with me, I invite you to, let's have a conversation about that. Because whenever we continue to do and do and do for somebody, they're going to continue to come back, and their demands sometimes get higher. And here's the crazy thing: whenever we decide to be true to us instead of continuing to allow those emotions to drive us, and some of those emotions can be within relationships. I feel insecure. I feel like if I don't do this, I'm going to lose you, so I'm going to do this for you. It's not always just about loving them. It's about fear. Fear drives us to do things for people. That's being guided by your emotions. That's being driven by your emotions. But love is in here, and love is from you to you. And whenever we have enough of our own love, we understand that they need to love themselves too, and we're compassionate enough to let them figure out how to do that. So that was a lot about this little card, right? So remember, whenever we're asking, it's, again, like I said earlier, it's a judgment call. So when we're asking our higher self with the purest of intentions, show me what is the best action for me to take at this time, if any. And detach from those emotions, right? She loves herself enough that she is unconditionally loving of herself. She's unconditionally accepting of herself. She is unconditionally nurturing of herself, which permeates out of her, right? Not in a physical way where she has to nurture people by giving them things, because that's not nurture. That's enabling. But her living her life to her highest good allows other people permission to do the same. She walks in her power, allowing other people to walk in their power. That's how we truly help the people that we love, by being an example, not by bailing them out. It's always our choice, and sometimes we're scared to make the choice. It's really scary to withdraw. There's that scary word again, withdraw. It's truly scary to withdraw help, physical, financial help from somebody that we've been helping, because we don't know what their reaction is going to be. And normally their reaction is suddenly we're the bad guy. So allow yourself to take the blindfold off and uncross your heart, because if you're having to protect yourself, if you're having to guard your heart, if you're having to do things for other people to keep them in your space, right? If you're feeling if you're feeling like, if I don't help them, I fear they're going to leave me and it's going to hurt my heart. If it's those kinds of things, it's definitely not something that is healthy or beneficial to you or them, or us, however that is. But when, I love this, but when we love ourselves, it seems like for some reason the PSs have gone from 3 to 4, and I think it's happened in quite a few of the readings too. But whenever we truly love ourselves, this generosity all of a sudden becomes something, right? It's like there's enough to give and take. We find ourselves on equal footing with other people, that there's equal give and take. There's not somebody constantly taking, but it's not just them taking, it's us giving. So whenever we love ourselves enough and respect ourselves enough and know who we are and walk in our own truth, then we attract those other people who are the same. And the people that we helped so much also seem to become the same. They'll come up to where you are. And I say that sounds judgmental. They'll come up to where you are, but they will get on their feet. They will find their own journey. They will live their own life and understand that what you did when you withdrew was absolutely the best thing that you could have done for them, because it helped them to get to a place where they have an abundance to give to others too. Okay. That is Daily Mail. Thank you guys so much. I love y'all, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. Until then, have a super duper day. Bye.